Tampa, Florida is booming. We're talking 150 people moving here every single day. And get this, there's billions of dollars being poured into new construction all over the place. This city's skyline is changing faster than you can say flip-flop tan lines. Now, by 2025, Tampa Bay is clearing a whopping 3 million residents. And you know who's really loving it here? Millennials, professionals, and young families. They're moving in like crazy because Tampa Bay is the place to be. But here's the thing, and trust me on this as a Tampa native and local realtor, there's another side to this story. While everyone's talking about how Tampa's the hottest thing, there's actually people packing up and leaving. So what's the deal? Is Tampa a dream come true or a total nightmare? Well, we're gonna find out. We're hitting the streets to talk to folks who've been here forever, folks who just arrived, and everyone in between. Stick around and you'll get the real scoop on Tampa in 2025. So we're starting our day right here on the Tampa Riverwalk, and let me tell you, if you want to see how Tampa has transformed, this is the perfect spot. This Riverwalk was actually voted one of the top Riverwalks in the entire country, and for good reason. I remember when this area was nothing like what you're seeing right now. I grew up boating and fishing all up and down the river, and while there were others enjoying it, it was never the centerpiece of the city like it is today. And you know what's crazy? This 2.6 mile stretch has completely changed how people experience downtown Tampa. The Riverwalk has helped connect some of Tampa's major attractions, top restaurants, and it's really given locals a new place to just get out and enjoy the outdoors. It's one of the major ongoing developments in Tampa that has helped attract new residents to Tampa. But don't just take my word for it. Let's talk to some folks who've seen this transformation firsthand. And before we jump into that, if this is your first time to my channel, I'm Adam with Tampa Florida Living, and we help people buy, sell, and relocate to the Tampa Bay area by sharing exactly what it's like living here. And folks, there's no other channel bringing you videos quite like we do. We're actually out here in the city showing you everything you need to know. So if you're thinking about making a move, feel free to reach out. All of our contact info is in the description below and pinned in the chat. All right, so we're shooting a video about folks moving to Tampa. Can I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
All right, so who do we have here today?
Alton and Betty.
Alton and Betty. My name's Adam. Do you currently live here?
Yes.
All right, and how long have you lived here?
All my life.
All your life. Me too. That's a rare. We're rare birds.
We've been married 50 years.
We
so
are rare birds.
Wow, congratulations.
Take to put that on our age.
I'm only at 11, so I have a long way to go. But let me ask you this. In our comments, because we shoot these videos and put them on YouTube and Instagram,
okay,
people in the comments are always saying, Florida's full, leave, we don't need any more. Since you're a local, what are your thoughts on that? We have over 1,000 people moving to Florida a year and 150 a day moving to Tampa. What are your thoughts on that? Has it changed your version of Tampa?
Well, I can say that we are more, because of the growth, I see the growth.
Yeah.
And we're a lot more diverse than we used to be. You know, this is here, the Riverwalk is here, and I mean apartments, and sometimes I say I wish people would stop coming because it's driving prices up. You know, for us natives, that's a little bit hard. But then again, I'm kind of fascinated to see places that used to be warehouses. Now it's Water Street, you know.
Yes.
It's very upscale now. And so I have mixed emotions, but I do see the progress.
Yeah, I'm with you. I feel, I love the old slow-paced Tampa that nobody really knew about. It was our secret.
Right.
But yet, it's like my wife and I were down at Water Street the other day, and it was like we're in a new city.
Yes.
So it was beautiful. And so I can appreciate that. And we are always kind of used to sharing it with tourists anyway, right?
Right, right.
So, but it is getting busier, things are changing, but I appreciate your input. Thank you. All right, so who do we have here today?
Cheyenne.
Cheyenne. We are shooting a video about all the people moving to Tampa, right? All the new developments, everything going on. So, do you currently live here?
I do.
All right, and where do you live?
I live right across from the Strat Center.
All right, so right down the Strat Center, right off the Riverwalk. And where did you move from? Or have you been here a long time?
I've been here since July. I moved from Kansas City.
Oh, okay, nice. So what brought you here?
I go to grad school at Tampa.
Okay, so
just more opportunity, yeah.
Was there something involved with Tampa as far as, choosing Tampa, or was it like school strictly?
It was school, but I've always wanted to move to Florida. It was always kind of in my plan. I thought it'd be later in life, but since I had the chance to move earlier, I just kind of took the opportunity.
Have you felt that it was welcoming with folks, other people that lived here when you moved here?
I feel like it's super welcoming. I haven't had any problems with anyone and stuff like that. I feel like it also helps though. I feel like they don't like the Northerners, like the New York. I'm kind of an outlier being from Kansas City. I haven't really met anyone from there, so.
How's the barbecue here?
Haven't had any. I don't want to be disappointed.
All right. I've got a place for you. But what I would say is there anything that you've enjoyed about being here? And let's just say that you were done with school. Would you move back here? How's the experience been?
Here.
You want to stay here?
My goal is to stay here for at least a few more years. I love the walkability. I love the weather. There is a lot of good food, even though I haven't had barbecue.
All right.
But I do want to stay here, yeah.
Fast forward post-grad school. Mm-hmm. How would you feel about all the other people moving here now that you would be a local?
I mean, I don't know.
Do you feel like it's too busy, or do you feel like, no, it's all right, we all kind of blend?
When you're driving on 275, it feels too busy, but like when I'm just here walking around, I never think it's too busy. I like all the activities that get to go on because there's so many people here.
Yeah. Awesome.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much. All right, so we caught up with Sim here on the Riverwalk. Appreciate you, answer some of these questions. We're talking about moving to Tampa and some of the good, some of the bad. I asked him off camera where you're from, and you said, where are you originally from?
Daytona Beach.
Daytona Beach. Now, you moved to Tampa when?
Around 1998, long time ago.
98. So, he's pretty much a local at this point. So I feel like he's a good person to ask here that we call on the Riverwalk. So, where do you currently live? Not address, but neighborhood.
Yeah, I'm in Wesley Chapel.
Wesley Chapel. Okay,
Yeah.
That's awesome. So we have a lot of folks loving to go up there to the suburbs. What did you always live in Wesley Chapel, or where did you start when you came in?
I started off 1998 USF area, some places around there.
Okay.
Getting branched out and eventually ended up in Wesley Chapel.
In Wesley Chapel. What drew you to Wesley Chapel? Like now, obviously.
Just I guess just age and maturing, just family,
Suburbia.
Suburbia,
Yep.
the typical thing. So,
But yet we're finding you on the Riverwalk. So does that mean that you probably work here or whatever? But do you come in when you need to?
for
weekends?
For work. On weekends I come in here and there. Yeah.
Now this is a offset question, but since we're talking about Wesley Chapel, does it pretty much have everything you need as a suburb? Like, does it service you a lot, or do you have to leave to come into Tampa often?
There is everything I need, but I like to see some of the attractions here.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
I'm me more so than my wife.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I get it. Now, as a local, we often share our attractions with tourists, right? And so this video obviously is about all the people moving here, and then sometimes why people are leaving. They're leaving affordability and different reasons. But what is your feeling, because you've been here long enough, how has Tampa changed for you, like from the old days to what you're seeing now?
So like we said earlier, came in 98. Tampa was very different. It had a more, I'll say, a seedier kind of content to it.
Or under the radar.
Under the radar, seedier. USF was very different, a lot more lower scale. Just everything in general was just lower scale. And as time progressed, a lot of investments happened and things are starting to look a lot more like our neighbor to the south.
Cosmopolitan city.
Yeah, I'll say that. I'll say that.
So, and I agree with that. We had a lot of mom and pop. Everything was kind of slow-paced Florida, and now it's like the speed's picking up a little bit.
It is.
Right?
It is.
Do you think that's good or bad, and why?
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, like we were saying earlier, there are some bad aspects to it. I hear a lot of my friends and locals complaining about the sudden boom. It was very fast, it was very rapid, and things increased very, very much. So I can understand that standpoint, that it's a little bit negative. But on the same token, there's some good aspects to it, like all the investments put in. I'm enjoying that. We are enjoying that. You can enjoy that. So I think there are pros and cons to both things.
Absolutely. So we're riding the growth, and I appreciate you sharing both sides of that coin with me. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
That's it. All right, so let me show you something that's absolutely incredible. This is Water Street, and I've got to tell you, my wife and I were down here on a date night last week, and it honestly felt like we were in a completely different city, and I mean that in the best possible way. This right here is a $3.5 billion development that's completely transforming our downtown. Now, some folks in the comments will say this is ruining Tampa's charm, but let me share with you what I'm actually seeing on the ground. We've got new restaurants, retail spaces, and some of the most beautiful apartment buildings I've seen anywhere in Florida. And you know what's really cool about Water Street? It's not just buildings. They've created this whole walkable neighborhood where you can live, work, and play all in one spot. It's action-packed, and when you're down here, it just feels like the city has come alive, and something, in my opinion, that we definitely needed. And speaking of living here, I actually caught up with some folks who call Water Street their home. All right, so Germano found him walking here on Water Street, and you moved from Brazil.
Correct.
But you moved to Texas, so international. What brought you to Texas?
So we moved to Texas because we wanted to be closer to our lawyer. So we knew that Texas has a great economy. It's not as super expensive to live. We like the culture as well. So we were like, why not,
Yeah, and you were there for a little bit over a year, and then
Yes,
I was
correct.
asking you what brought you to Tampa specifically.
So since we're from Brazil, we used to live super close to the beach. So we kind of missed being close to the ocean. The weather here is closer to Brazilian weather. We have more Brazilians here as well.
Yeah.
And I used to do real estate in Brazil. So I'm thinking about coming back to this area. Actually, I will come back to this area. And Brazilians love Florida.
Yep.
So, I'm going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, so one of the things I asked him off camera was where are you currently living now?
We live in South Tampa, close to Gandhi Bridge.
Okay. I'm sure you got some fishing in there, right?
Oh, yes, of course. We are super close to Picnic Island. It's a great spot for fishing.
Yeah. And now that we're
Sunset as
downtown
well.
or Water Street, right? You're looking to
Exactly.
potentially transfer and move over here, looking for apartments, right?
Exactly.
So why would you choose Water Street?
So our future plan is to buy a house, live in the suburbs, maybe in the future raise a family.
Yep.
And right now we're thinking about having a phase living downtown, at least for a year, just to know how it is. Super walkable, you have the restaurants, the bars super close to you. We want to feel that vibe before we decide to buy a house, move to the suburbs, to in the future you're like, oh, I live once downtown, I had the phase.
Yep.
We want to do that.
Yeah, I have
That's
two
the plan.
kids, and it'd be hard to,
Oh yeah.
jump into a 2-bedroom apartment kind of tight.
Exactly.
And I wouldn't be able to really go out because I don't have a babysitter to watch the kids all the time. So I would absolutely choose the exact same route if I were you.
We're young. We're just the two of us. We don't have not even pets. So yeah, it's going to be a good phase for sure.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate you.
All right, so just stopped you down here on Water Street. Saw you going by. I think you have groceries or whatnot. Thank you for taking that time. What's your name first off?
Garrett.
Garrett. Adam, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
So do you live here?
I do.
All right, where specifically? Oh,
Just down Channelside Drive.
just on Channel Side Drive.
Yeah.
All right, and are you from Tampa?
Originally, I'm from Miami. I've been in Tampa about 7 years.
Okay, so 7 years. How long total, I guess, in Florida?
46 years.
46 years. All right. So, topic of this video is all the people that are moving to Tampa, and some of them are leaving too, right?
Yeah.
For different reasons. Sometimes it's affordability, things like that. So, being that you're down here in Water Street, the first question I have for you is about the development. Like,
Sure.
You've been here 7, 8 years. This wasn't like it was
No,
even
not at
7
all.
years ago.
Yeah.
So, what's your first take there?
I love the development. It's nice to come down and there's so many restaurants, and obviously there's Greenwise here to go to real quick.
Walkability, because you're walking with your groceries.
Absolutely, yeah. I just walk everywhere now. I park the car on like Friday afternoon. I probably don't get in there until like Monday.
Yeah. Is
So,
that also why you chose to live like Channelside area, Water Street area?
I didn't know where I was moving until probably 2 weeks prior to moving to Tampa, and I had a good buddy who told me, "Look, I know you pretty well.
Yeah.
I think you'll enjoy Channelside."
Okay.
So anywhere in South Tampa, you'll be good, but you'll probably like Channelside. So I ended up moving.
This
to
is gonna fit
Channelside.
you.
Yeah, on like a 6-month lease, and I was like, "Oh man!" And I've been here 7, 8 years, and I've moved 3 times, and it all within like 3-block radius.
So this is your spot.
Yes.
He nailed it for you.
Yeah,
so
he did.
tell
did.
your buddy thanks. But with the video,
Yeah.
some people in the comments they're typing in like Florida's full, those kind of things, or affordability. What's your take on that? You've been here long enough in Florida.
Yeah.
Because there's like 250,000 people moving here a year, right? Our population I think went up by 2% in the last year, which is crazy. What do you think of that? Where do you sit on that?
I'm partial to that. I
Okay.
kind of like agree. Like, I know that a lot of this stuff wouldn't be here without that.
Sure.
So I get that, but I do like I said, I grew up in Miami, and I watched what happened to this city that I love. Kind of
Yeah.
just, I mean, there's
Just explode.
Yeah, it exploded, and they
Yeah.
didn't really put any caps on like what they were building, where they were building, how they could build, how they could move in and out. Like, and it just got to be too much, too fast.
Yeah.
Traffic and affordability and just kind of everything just, in my opinion, it wasn't as nice as what I had remembered growing up.
Yeah,
So
sure.
I hope that doesn't happen here. I think they're a little bit smarter about how they're building.
I think they're being strategic.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
They
yeah.
are.
There- I mean, we still have to have growth, and we still have to have some of these new developments.
Yeah, totally. But it's nice to be able to walk down Bayshore
100%.
and know that like that's not going to be a strip mall or 50-story condos.
Keeping some of those historic
in the next
areas.
10 years. Yeah.
Now, I will say this, development-wise, we've got the YMCA in the Heights that's being redeveloped. Britain Plaza, if you know where that is in South Tampa, that's in works.
Guitar stores there.
Some people like it, some people don't. For me, I love that we're getting little pockets like Midtown or Water Street or these areas because it's giving us little pockets of walkability that we've never had. This was always a ghost town. So if you had to do it again, would you choose this area and would you choose Tampa as a place to move from Miami?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I would choose Tampa. I would choose this area. Since I moved up, I would always host like a Thanksgiving. So I've had family since then come for Thanksgiving, fall in love, and be like, oh, this is great. Like, we're leaving Miami, we're coming here. So,
but you don't want them moving here.
Well, they did. So 2 or 3, that's okay. Not by the masses. But I would do the same thing.
Yeah. You've been here 7 years, and I know we're about to get the trolley behind us, so it might get loud. 7 or 8 years. Have you seen the cost of living drastically go up in Tampa?
Not like I saw it in Miami. I mean,
other cities maybe a little bit
obviously
more?
it has.
Yeah.
But nothing crazy. Like, I think the most sticker shock I have is my insurance.
Yes.
And I think that's
It's a good one to bring
throughout
up.
the state. Like, I think you would know better than I do, but I think that I could live in Gainesville or Ocala or something.
Yeah.
My insurance will probably go up, maybe.
A lot of it that I'm seeing is on these older houses versus newer houses because I live in a 1970s home in the city. I'm feeling that. What I will say is we had a little bit of relief this year because it kind of peaked, and now I actually have a couple new insurance companies that came on back, and so I actually dropped about 20% on my insurance this past year. So hopefully we start to see that come out in the news and other people.
Because I renew in a matter of months, so hopefully maybe.
Last question, because I got you here. This is Entertainment Central, right?
Yeah.
It's awesome. You're loving it. Have you ever felt anywhere in Tampa, and I'm sure that there's pockets if you find them, but what is your thoughts on crime or feeling safe?
I've never felt unsafe, Okay.
Okay.
I mean, I don't do too much that would
You're not looking for too much trouble.
Put myself in a situation, but I used to stay out pretty late, and I never felt bad walking home from downtown or walking around Channelside. Like, it's never been an issue for me.
All right.
Knock on wood. So.
And then last thing, just put a bow on this for me. All the people moving here.
Yeah.
They're still coming.
Yeah, they're gonna come. Yeah.
Are we gonna be welcoming?
I try to be, it may not be my favorite thing in the world, but they're all good people. They all want the same. We all want the same thing.
Absolutely.
We want to live in a nice, safe, fun, affordable-ish city.
Well, good news for you. I just did research on it, and they're still coming, but it's slowing down at a much slower pace.
Good.
So hopefully we're just gonna have an even keel, and I appreciate your time, man.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, so we are now on Water Street. Caught these folks at the dog park here, so clearly they live here. But who do we have with us today?
Yeah, so my name's Callum.
Skylar.
Skylar, all right. So where are you guys from? You have a little bit of an accent here, so.
Yeah, so I'm from Birmingham in the UK, which is obviously quite far from here.
And
we've just moved, so yeah.
And I'm originally from New York.
New York, all right, we've got a little bit of New York coming down here, just a little bit. It's the number one state of people migrating down here. So this video is all about people that are moving here, and then obviously asking some locals as well. It's like, well, man, there's a ton of people moving here. What do you feel about that? Is it too crowded? How's the housing, all that? But when did you move here?
I moved here about 3 weeks ago.
All right.
And myself, it's been about just under 2 weeks now, so
All right.
very fresh.
Very fresh newcomers, which I love. That's awesome. I'm very welcoming to everybody. I love sharing my city because I was born and raised here. But let me ask you this. We're in Water Street now. Do you live close to here?
Yeah, probably about, 10-minute walk from here?
All right, so in downtown, and this is nice because you get to come here, bring the dogs, right?
Yeah.
So what do you love about this area? Why did you end up, and why did you choose downtown as the place to live out of all the areas?
It's more a question for you.
Yeah, well, in general, I love Florida because of the weather, especially coming from New York.
Yeah.
It's a good change. And then downtown, I just think it's very centralized. It's close to everything. You could walk really anywhere. A lot of nice restaurants.
Yep. So walkability, restaurants. Do you come out at night around here?
Yeah, we've been out a few times at night. There's some good bars, some good spots, and then obviously the Riverwalk is really lovely.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of aspects,
Now, did the weather? Sorry, I'm gonna get to that.
Yeah, no, I was just gonna say, yeah, we do come out a lot downtown because there's always things going on. There's always people out drinking and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
In a good way, like not like in the UK is a kind of like a darker culture with drinking. Everyone gets wasted all the time. Unlike nights out, you probably wouldn't want to go for a walk on the streets late at night.
Yeah.
Whereas around here, it's like, yeah, you can go for a walk and you'll just see people having a good time. And obviously, if you go to the college part, you're going to see that.
Soho.
Yeah, but that's different.
Or Ybor, the one. Yeah. This is my wife and I's our favorite spot to kind of crawl. Start here and just make our way in and out of the restaurants. Have you guys bumped into Ric Flair yet?
No, I didn't know he lived here.
So Ric Flair is always at the Pearl.
Wow, okay.
Always, like 3 nights a week, you'll see him there. He lives here.
That's good.
So kind of funny bumping into like a few little celebrities, especially wrestlers. They're kind of Tampa's home for a lot of them. But so as far as what brought you to Tampa, though, right? So downtown because of walkability, restaurants and things like that. What actually had you choose Tampa? Was it just the weather, or was it a job, or?
Well, I love Florida in general. I've always wanted to live here, and I was between like Miami and here, but I feel like it's a little more laid back here, which I like. And yeah, I got a job at the Hard Rock.
Oh,
so
nice.
I'll be working there.
Yep.
It's a little bit of both, yeah.
It's a lot more businessy around here, isn't it? There's a lot more opportunities in Tampa specifically. For example, like my mom, my stepmom, she works with JP Morgan in London, and she was trying to get me in with their program, and there's JP Morgan thing in Tampa, so that obviously works out quite well. If I can pursue that, that works for me. Obviously, being from the UK, they can sponsor a visa. That all works well. So, yeah, there's a lot more opportunities here, specifically in Tampa, over like Miami, because it's just a lot more flash and.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Slower pace, a lot of walkability. Last question, because a lot of people don't understand this about downtown. When you go to like cities like this, a lot of people think downtown it's kind of like could be a sketchy area. Who's not? What is your feel? Do you feel it's dangerous or crime or anything out there as far as your experience now? I know it's only a few weeks, but. Anywhere in Tampa, have you felt it's maybe unsafe?
Hands down, no.
Awesome.
Hands down, no.
I love those answers. Thank you for sharing, both of you.
Thank you.
All right, so Gracie, I caught you over here in the dog park, just getting your dog a little exercise, and we're right here in Water Street, so there's a dog park here. But, the backstory with you is you told me that you're from Brandon. So what was life like growing up in Brandon? And then I'm going to obviously transition here.
I believe it was a very small town for me. I know it's crazy to say that, but I think it's a small town. I was born and raised there, so I kind of like know everywhere and everyone. So there's not a lot to do there. All the restaurants kind of got old. So then I tend to move out to Tampa and started to do more things out there.
Yep, so as a young professional, you kind of just made that decision like, hey, I want more things. I want more active life. So you did say that you were here 10 months now in the Water Street area or downtown?
Harbor Island.
Okay, so Harbor Island, so close by. And so what was that decision? Why did you move here? Like what specifically stood out for you?
I was out here most of the time. I go out a lot, so I tend to be out in Tampa. So I decided to go out here because that's where I spent most of my time, and it's been a great time so far.
Yeah, and you were mentioning like, hey, you don't have to have the Uber rides.
Right, the Uber rides. I bike and walk everywhere. It's very close. There's a lot of things to do around here.
Let me ask you, as a young woman, do you feel that it's safe at night around here?
Yes, I believe it is safe. I walk the dog at night all of the time. Although lately the lights have been out over there on Harbor Island ever since the hurricanes. So I try and take the dog out around 5 or 6 just to be more careful. But other than that, I feel really safe to be out here in the streets.
But coming over from the Harbor Island, coming across the bridge into downtown at night,
very
going
safe.
out, walking around,
Yes, very safe.
bars and all
I
that.
feel like a lot of people are aware of the pedestrian walking nowadays. I feel like usually they weren't aware, but now they are. So I feel more safe with that.
Awesome. So would you suggest living in downtown for anybody that's possibly thinking about it?
For sure. I love the city life. Very fun. And you meet a lot of people, and then you run into a lot of people too. So you kind of know everyone around here.
So could you almost say that in 10 months you've built a little bit of like a community?
For sure. Definitely. Absolutely.
Awesome. That's perfect. Thank you.
Perfect.
Now I brought you to one of my favorite spots in the city that's near and dear to my heart. That's good old West Tampa. And there's a reason why we're here. You see these buildings and these cafes. This right here is the heart and soul of Tampa, folks. And while we're seeing all these amazing new developments, it's places like this that keep our city's character alive. West Tampa serves as a living testament to Tampa's roots, where old cafes, family-owned bakeries, and vibrant street murals tell stories of Cuban, Italian, and Spanish heritage. The people here, generations of locals who have built their lives in this neighborhood, preserve traditions that make Tampa more than just another fast-growing city. Areas like this act as a reminder that progress doesn't have to come at the cost of identity. In the West Tampa, the past and present, they coexist beautifully. All right, so back in West Tampa, I've got Danny from the Brisket Shop, some of the best local barbecue. Don't trust me on this. Just come and enjoy it yourself. Your mind's gonna be blown, man. But we're back in the wine shop here, right? Danny, longtime local. I've got a lot of interesting questions. I always talk to people on the camera. Talk to them about, how much things have changed in the old days of where we came from. And you hear a lot of grumbles sometimes about, oh man, cost of living went up, or, things are much faster, the traffic's heavy, all those stuff, right? What are your thoughts on it? What are your views on all these people that are moving to Tampa?
I'm jaded, man. I am so massively in love with, especially Old West Tampa, right? Which is what I like calling where we're at. I mean, we're in a pocket stuck between Armature, Tampa Stadium, Tampa International. I couldn't pick a better spot to be in. If I was relocating to Tampa, Florida, I'd be right here in Old West Tampa. Yeah. But the reality is that disgruntledness, that's everything. With change comes that disgruntledness. Yeah. But let's think about the positive, right? Let's think about how much we've grown for the positive. The fact is, I get my ruck on right here in the morning from here to Armature work.
Yep.
And I walk along the river. I walk along some of the prettiest real estate, some of the prettiest backdrops. Mm-hmm. And that's been in West Tampa for the last 40 years. Has it changed? It's definitely changed, but it's changed for the better.
Yeah.
100%. And that's the positive stuff. I like focusing on the positive. I've seen some amazing growth in Tampa. I love it.
Yeah, I mean, as we grow, any large metro is going to have its struggles or challenges with growth, right? But all the new attractive, or attractions, like the Riverwalk you just mentioned. We were there this morning.
Awesome.
And what's amazing about it is how many businesses and attractions and restaurants and museums that it connects, right? And it gives us that walkability that we never really had in the old days.
Just a whole lot of synergy, and we're finally using the riverfront the way we should have used the riverfront a long, long time. And again, everything takes time. Going back, mom and dad migrated to Tampa through Cuba via Chicago. Too damn cold for any Cuban. Look at this weather, right? I mean, this is Tampa cold, and I love throwing on a flannel and a hoodie just like everybody else does, and a beanie. But the reality is, I mean, Florida weather's unstoppable. Mm-hmm. Tampa weather, despite storms and all that, guess what? We all got to deal with it. Yep. We're rebuilding. It's going to be better and bigger, and I couldn't imagine a better place. I really can't.
So as a local business owner, Brisket Shop, right? You clearly are happy with the growth, right?
I love it.
But
I love it.
As a local, dealing with the people coming here, it's 150 people a day.
Yeah.
What are your real thoughts on it? People always, I always say, oh, you're a realtor, you must be okay with it. You're selling an idea, but what do you really feel as a local?
I mean, real thoughts, don't get me wrong. As long as we don't lose that fiber, and we don't lose that fiber of I'm a Morejón, you're a Hernandez.
Yes.
This is Old West Tampa. I still love a Guayaba Pastelito. I still love my cafecito.
Yep.
I still love the local espresso. And as long as we don't lose that flavor of the local bodega, the local Latin flavor, the amazing Cuban bread, the fact that we've got 3 amazing franchises that are winning, we got great schools, USF, that we're on that national page, on the front page of sports and the front page of Michelin star restaurants, as long as we don't lose the fiber and who made us this amazing great city, I think we're going to be great. It's just the same pains that every other city. Do I enjoy jumping in my truck and it takes 40 minutes instead of 15? Maybe I don't, but guess what? You got to pay a price for growth, and that's the price that we're paying. It's still absolutely beautiful, and I wouldn't trade it for anything.
Just shot a video called Pros and Cons. And there's no question that the pros outweigh the cons.
All day long, man. And I mean, that's life. As we grow older, we get to learn that guess what? With every pro, there's going to be some cons. As long as that side, those pros outweigh them, we're good.
Yeah, Danny, thank you so much.
Pleasure,
guys,
bro.
Come see him at Brisket Shop. He throws down like no one else.
Let's do it.
All right, so we got Tony here, longtime Tampa local native. Well,
almost native.
Almost
You've
native.
been here more than 50 years.
That's right.
Pretty much close to it.
So tell us a little bit about your background, because I do want to get a local's take on this situation.
I did grow up here. I grew up in Tampa. I went to school in Tampa. Families in Tampa. Got grandkids in Tampa now. It's a beautiful place. I worked for the government for 35 and a half years. 25 of those years, I was a community resources guy, the community relations guy.
Okay.
I dealt with that, mostly the Hispanic community, but I've dealt with all of the community actually.
Yep. And so I came to a local, cafe here in West Tampa, because I wanted to get the take from some of these locals here. We were on the street earlier and we heard from different people that we caught on the Riverwalk just saying, hey, what do you think about all these people that are moving here, to Florida and specifically to Tampa? In our comment section, we get, things like Florida's full and, it's overcrowded and the traffic. So help me understand. You've been here so long, and you've seen the different progressions and Tampa evolving as a city.
For sure.
Fast forwarding to today, what do you kind of feel from that? That's different, or good and bad too.
Yeah, I've seen neighborhoods where used to be orange groves. I've seen neighborhoods where used to be cow pastures.
Yeah.
You know, along with the people come the traffic, come the problems. Tampa's a great place. We could talk all day about the benefits of living in this Tampa Bay area.
Sure.
Phenomenal place to live, phenomenal place to grow up, for your kids to grow up, raise your kids. So many things to do. But the downside of it is when you have so many people, these roads are not designed for so many people sometimes.
Right. You always see construction or a crane
or something.
There's
always construction, there's potholes, there's traffic. Traffic nowadays, you get on the interstate, at night, all you see is a sea of red lights.
Yeah.
And that's how you get around.
Yeah.
You know, they have the crosstown, they have the Selman crosstown, they've got the veterans. Those things are outdated.
Yeah.
So that's why people say, you know what, I want the country life.
Yeah.
Used to be you'd leave from here and you move up Pasco County, you were kind of in the country.
Right. There was nothing out there but a Waffle House, right?
Exactly.
So now you're starting to see some people kind of move away from the city a little bit.
Oh yeah, I can give you an example. Here where we're filming this today.
Okay. We are in the city.
Yeah, we are. We're in good old West Tampa.
That's right.
Houses used to go here probably 10 years ago. You could have bought a house for $80,000.
Yeah.
That same house now goes $450,000.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right.
And the house hasn't changed.
No.
The same house.
Yep. Just location now.
Exactly.
For those that want to live in the
here,
city.
this is a great place to live. It's central to a lot of things. You'll see a lot of new home construction here as well. But with the downside is that you have more traffic. You have more people.
Yep.
More people, more traffic, sometimes more crime.
Yeah.
You know?
Now, do you ever, I know when people are listening, they're watching, they hear crime. Do you feel that it's unsafe?
As safe as any other city, I guess.
There's a lot of cities out there.
Yeah, but
are you talking Chicago safe?
No, I'm talking about cities about the same size, the same composition. There's crime.
Yeah,
not a
there's
doubt,
no question.
Crime.
Yeah.
And I'm a strong proponent of certain things that, deter that kind of crime. Let's put it that way. Let's keep it friendly. But, you just have to be yourself.
All right. Now, let me ask you this. So one of those comments are, Florida's closed, right? And I know that one can go either way. Personally, I've said it, we've heard it today. I love Old Tampa, and I love that it was our hidden secret, but it's not a secret anymore, and we can't control that. It's in the spotlight.
The Super Bowl's changed that, I think.
We've had multiple, right?
Exactly.
So how do you feel about newcomers coming in, keeping in mind that our city is, expanding? We've got new developments, new attractions, new experiences for us locals. What do you feel about that?
It wouldn't be the city if it wasn't for the newcomers. I remember when downtown Tampa was as dead as
ghost town.
As dead as Tombstone.
Yeah.
It was a ghost town, exactly. At 5, I used to work downtown at 5 o'clock. 6 o'clock you go, there would be nobody on the streets. And you go today, it's very alive.
Yeah.
Water Street, you got downtown, you got Madison, you got all these streets downtown that are full of life now. You have people living downtown. That was the plan. They wanted that urban core, and they're building it.
Yep.
If it wasn't for the newcomers, that wouldn't be.
Yeah. So let me ask you, are you still living in the city, or did you hightail it?
No, I live here in West Tampa. I do have my own little secluded place that I go to every
That's
now and
right,
then.
just to get away.
Up in Georgia.
But
Great state of Georgia.
But no matter what, from what I hear,
I'm not leaving.
You're not leaving.
Nah, I got my anchor here.
You still love your city.
I love Tampa.
You have a little bit of extra traffic, but you still have your secret hole in the walls, like where we are today,
exactly.
right?
It's a beautiful place.
And so, are you finding locals welcoming still to others? And
it's a mixed bag,
And knowing that at some point, majority of people were kind of a rarity, but at some point, most of our friends and family probably came from somewhere else too, right?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's like not in my backyard. Everybody wants a jail. Everybody wants this and that. They want a hospital. Not in my backyard. They don't want it in their neighborhood.
Right.
Same thing with locals. Okay, you can come to Florida, but not in my neighborhood.
So come here, but play by the rules, right?
Exactly.
All right. Thank you, brother. All right. So I got Ronnie, another longtime Tampanian, here with us today. And Ronnie, I keep getting in the comments a lot of people saying Florida's packed, traffic, affordability, all these different things. One, I want to understand, what do you think as a longtime Tampa, like all the people coming here, is it welcoming? Do we send them back? What do we do with all this situation?
Yeah, Adam, longtime resident here, born and raised.
Yeah.
Went to law school here, never left. So I know the value of living in Tampa. it's welcoming to this nation in that there are areas that I grew up in that are areas that you would not expect to have the growth that it does.
Sure.
But all of a sudden, because it's inner city and stuff, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
West Tampa, Wellswood, South Tampa. Look at South Tampa. You can't even talk about it anymore. I live in South Tampa, but I mean, people talk about going to South Tampa, and the value of the house goes up. At the same time, I know that the growth has been in Pasco County. With the new houses and stuff.
A lot of people leaving the city. We just talked about that with Tony.
Yeah, I think it's just a matter of what do you value more? Do you value being close to where everything's happening in downtown Tampa and stuff, or do you want to move out to that suburb that's going to wind up providing you with maybe more house for the value, but you're away from most things? So I think that you're absolutely right. It is occurring, a lot of traffic in here.
Yep.
But the bottom line is, it's like that all over the country. The traffic is the traffic. It is what it is.
Yeah. You know what's funny is I tell that people all the time, yes, we have traffic, but it depends on where you come from. If you come from Mobile, Alabama, it's going to feel like traffic.
Right.
You come from a big city like a Chicago, New York, it's going to be like, this is nothing.
Nothing.
Because we can still, even though there's a lot of red lights, which I think is where the traffic feel comes from, right? And our entire city is residential. We pretty much live on a grid, right, in the city.
Yeah.
Going from place to place still takes 15, 20 minutes. It doesn't take you 50 minutes to get from South Tampa to West Tampa.
Right.
20.
20. Yeah,
right?
Right.
So, and usually there's traffic patterns here, right? Around school time, school letting out in the morning, or school going in, letting out.
I think you're right, though. I think that what I've seen as far as backing up traffic has been a lot of the light sequence.
Yes.
How they're timing that.
Yeah.
I think you're right that some of these kids that are buying out in North Tampa say it takes 12 minutes to get to downtown Tampa. There's no way in hell that's happening.
No.
But at the same time, I live in South Tampa. I come to West Tampa every morning because my office is here, plus the coffee shop's here.
Yeah.
And I will tell you, it probably takes me, and I come early, probably takes at the most 15 minutes.
Yeah.
So the traffic is what it is, but it's mainly the traffic lights that are doing it for you. It's not the distance. It's not, I don't get on the interstate all that much anymore.
Yeah.
But, I know that if you go through downtown Tampa at 2:00 in the afternoon, you're probably going to wind up hitting some backlog.
Absolutely.
So
I tell people that going to the beach, go in the morning.
Come on.
It's going to bottleneck. Now, one of the questions, you kind of tapped on the cafe, right, where we're sitting right now, right? Earlier, I talked to a bunch of people. I was on the Riverwalk. I was down at Water Street, talking to them about the new developments that Tampa has. What do you think about these new developments? And I'm saying that, I'm asking that because I love that we see these new things pop up. It's new attractions, new experiences for us, even though it attracts new people. But I love that we kind of hold on to these cafes, special gems for you, right?
Well, yeah. The key is like, you look at the University of Tampa and that area and how it's grown and, developed and stuff. And you've got some of these new little cafes and little restaurants that are, modern and, doing different types of cuisines. That's great. And I'd like to go see them. But there's no substitute for those old style, back to the root type cafes. This being one of them.
Yeah.
To get along, what's great about Tampa, Adam, because you've experienced this.
Yeah.
What's great about Tampa is the guys that grew up here stay here and they hang out with each other. I come here.
A place to gather like this.
I come to breakfast every morning, coffee every morning with guys that are doctors, lawyers, Indians and chiefs, plumbers, electricians. Guys I grew up with, maybe didn't hang out with every day.
Play ball with or
but
whatever.
Every day I have coffee with them every day. And the difference is that we never forget that. The similarity is this. The way we were raised, the family values and stuff. So that's what I love about Tampa.
Yeah, absolutely. We hold on to some of those traditions, yet some of the shiny, bright spots of the city's growth is we get new attractions to play in.
Yeah.
And so we get these cafes, and then we get some of those Michelin star restaurants that we're getting. So
it's okay to go visit those for lunch every once in a while.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's perfect. So things definitely have changed in Tampa. Some good and some, well, let's just say it's an adjustment. One of those things is the cost of home ownership, and folks often ask me about the numbers. So let me break this down for you. Right now, the median home price in Tampa is sitting in the mid 400,000s. Now, that might sound high to some of you, but Let me put this in perspective. If you're coming from places like New York or California, you're still getting a lot more house for your money here. And let's be frank, we can't talk about housing without addressing the elephant in the room, insurance. This has been a huge challenge for a lot of families. We're seeing some insurance premiums that have gone up significantly over the last few years, but here's some good news. We're actually starting to see some new insurance companies come back into the market, and I just had a client save about 20% on their premium last month. And why not bring up jobs? Because this is something that really excites me about Tampa's future. We're seeing incredible growth in our tech sector, 30% growth in IT jobs over the last 5 years. Companies are moving here, startups are choosing Tampa, and we're becoming a real player in the business world. So why are people still choosing Tampa in 2025? Well, let me go ahead and break that down for you. First off, you've got the obvious stuff, like our weather is pretty much perfect. We're talking about an average of 73 degrees year round. I mean, where else can you play golf in January? And I could go on and on about our beaches and outdoor activities. Then there's the economic side. No state income tax. Now that's a big one. I can't tell you how many families I've worked with who are amazed at how much more money they keep in their pocket just from that alone. Plus our job market is booming. We've got major companies moving here, bringing high-paying jobs in tech, healthcare, and finance. But look, I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't talk about why some people are choosing to leave. And trust me, as someone who's helped both families buy and sell homes here, I hear both sides of the story. The biggest concerns is traffic is definitely up there. If you're trying to get around during rush hour, especially on 275, yeah, it could be rough. We're growing fast, and sometimes it feels like our infrastructure is playing catch up. Then there's the cost factor. While we're still more affordable than many other major cities, prices have definitely gone up, and well, incomes, well, not as much. Some families who've been here for generations are feeling the squeeze, especially when it comes to housing costs and insurance. So here's the bottom line, and I'll be completely honest with you. Tampa is growing, and it's growing fast. We're not that hidden gem that nobody knew about anymore. We're a major city with major city opportunities, and yes, major city challenges. But what I love about Tampa, what really makes this place special is how we're handling that growth. We're not just throwing up buildings, we're building communities. Places like Water Street, the Riverwalk, and all our historic neighborhoods are coming together to create something really special. If you're thinking about making the move to Tampa, my team and I would love to help you find your perfect home here. Our contact info is right there on the screen, and if you're a current Tampa resident, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all these changes. Are you loving the growth, or do you miss the old Tampa? I always love hearing from you and love hearing about your perspectives. Until next time, I'll catch you later.